Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Emotional Coco Gauff smashes racket in frustration after Australian Open loss. Melbourne, Australia. Coco Gauff smashed her racket into the concrete floor once for every time she dropped serve, and another one for good measure, after her Australian Open quarterfinal loss to Elina Svitolina on Tuesday. The third-seeded Gauff, a two-time major winner, struggled with her serve and recorded 5 double faults in the first set, when she was broken 4 times. There were 2 more service breaks in the second set and, once the match was over, in 59 minutes, Gauff stayed composed as she left the center court and tried to find somewhere quiet to vent her frustrations. Turns out, there's pretty much no place in Rod Laver Arena except for the locker rooms that is beyond the scope of the cameras. So, the 7 times she pounded her racket into a concrete ramp were far from a private moment following a 6-1, 6-2 defeat. Satan moments. The same thing happened to Arina Sabalenka. After I played her in the final of the US Open, I feel like they don't need to broadcast, Gauff said in her post-match news conference. I tried to go somewhere where I thought there wasn't a camera because I don't necessarily like breaking rackets. I broke 1 racket at the French Open, I think, and I said I would never do it again on court because I don't feel like that's a good representation. So, yeah, maybe some conversations can be had. Gauff hit just 3 clean winners across 15 games, made 26 unforced errors and won 2 of 11 points on her second serve. She got 74% of her first serves into play, but only won 41% of those points. It was an unusually bad day for a player who made her Grand Slam debut at 15 and won her first major, the 2023 US Open, at 19. She's still only 21. Gauff said she felt it was better to shatter a racket than to take out any frustrations on her support team. They're good people. They don't deserve that, and I know I'm emotional, Gauff said. So, yeah, I just took the minute to go and do that. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I said, I don't try to do it on court in front of kids and things like that, but I do know I need to let out that emotion. Shards of passion, Coco Gauff, emotion, and the human side of sport. In sport, as in life, moments that seem simple on the surface often carry deeper truths. When Coco Gauff, one of the world's most talented and emotionally intelligent tennis players, smashed her racket in frustration after a quarterfinal loss at the 2026 Australian Open, the reaction was more than a headline. It was a window into the soul of a competitor who feels intensely, cares deeply, and navigates the razor's edge between emotional honesty and public perception. On January 27, 2026, Gauff's campaign in Melbourne ended abruptly with a 6-1, 6-2 loss to Elina Svitolina, a result few expected from a player ranked number 3 in the world and a 2-time major champion. The scoreline alone was a surprise. The emotional reaction that followed became the defining image of her tournament. Following the loss, Gauff was filmed smashing her racket repeatedly against a concrete surface in a backstage corridor at Rod Laver Arena. She chose a spot she thought was private, hoping to release the tension swirling inside her, a physical manifestation of emotional release after the sting of defeat. Yet the moment was captured by cameras and later broadcast, igniting debate. The outburst, more than a broken racket. At first glance, the act of smashing a racket may seem reckless, dramatic, or even inappropriate. But in the context of elite competition, it can be an understandable expression of humanity. Gauff herself addressed the moment with insight and self-awareness. She admitted she didn't like breaking rackets publicly, tried to find a place out of sight, and stressed that she preferred to vent inanimate objects rather than take out her frustrations on her support team. For athletes who pour years into training, honing muscle memory, strategy, and mental composure, the reality is that emotions aren't easily dialed down when expectations aren't met. A Grand Slam quarterfinal loss is not just a defeat. It's a confrontation with disappointment, vulnerability, and the gap between aspiration and outcome. That gap, for someone like Gauff, is not abstract. It's felt. Sport, emotion, and cultural expectations. Tennis has a long and complicated relationship with emotional expression. Legends like John McEnroe made frustration part of narrative, while others have been judged harshly for the same behaviors. That context matters when we consider reactions to Gauff's outburst. What made this moment so compelling wasn't just the act itself. It was the setting, a backstage area, moments after a disappointing performance, where she believed privacy was possible. Instead, Cameras captured what should have been a personal release. For many, this raises questions about privacy, sport culture, and the role of broadcasting. Should every emotional spike in an athlete's day be subject to public viewing? Gauff argued it shouldn't, noting that in tennis, aside from locker rooms, there's little truly off-camera territory. She compared her situation to similar incidents involving other top players, like Arina Sabalenka after the US Open, questioning why these raw human moments are shared so widely. This debate touches on broader issues: the balance between entertainment and respect, the demand for access versus the need for space to emotionally recover, and whether athletes should be seen as performers or people. Gauff's reaction, then, becomes symbolic, not simply a broken racket, but a crack in the polished veneer of professional sport. Pressure cooker: what it means to care deeply. Coco Gauff's emotional reaction speaks to a deeper truth about pressure and caring. At 21 and already a multiple major champion, she has experienced dizzying highs and stinging lows. That background adds psychological layers to every match. The weight of expectation, the fear of underperforming, the drive to push for greatness. In her post-match comments, she acknowledged the frustration of seeing nothing seem to click during the match, a feeling any athlete knows well. When performance crumbles, emotion follows. Even the best mental training cannot fully inoculate a competitor against heartbreak. It's worth noting that Gauff's response was not explosive in anger but reflective. She decried that the cameras caught her, not because she regretted the emotion, but because she felt that personal moments deserve boundaries. Her emphasis wasn't on discipline but dignity. In many ways, her reaction underscores a positive aspect of emotional intelligence, acknowledging feelings rather than suppressing them. Her choice to express frustration physically, but out of harm's way, signals emotional responsibility, even if it didn't occur entirely out of public view. Public reaction and the double standard. The public reaction to Gauff's racket smash has been mixed, but instructive. Some viewers criticized her loss rather than her reaction. Others defended her right to feel after a tough day. On social media and fan forums, many noted that athletes are human beings first, not robots expected to compartmentalize deeply felt emotions for cameras.